Venus flytrap. It's a perennial carnivorous plant of the sundew family, notable for its unusual habit of catching and digesting insects and other small animals. The only member of its genus, the plant is native to a small region of North and South Carolina, where it is common in damp, mossy area. As photosynthetic plants, Venus flytraps do not rely on carnivory for energy, but rather use the nitrogen rich animal proteins to enable their survival in marginal soil conditions. The plant, which grows from a bulb like rootstock, bears a group of small white flowers at the tip of an erect stem 20 to 30 centimeter, that is about 6 to 12 inches tall. The leaves are 8 to 15 centimeter long and have blades that are hinged along the midline so that the two nearly circular lobes with spiny teeth along their margin can fold together and enclose an insect alighting on them. This action is triggered by pressure on 6 sensitive hairs, 3 on each lobe. In normal daytime temperatures, the lobes, when stimulated by prey, snap shut in about half a second. Glands on the leaf surface then secrete a red sap that digests the insect's body and gives the entire leaf a red flower-like appearance. About 10 days are required for digestion, after which the leaf reopens. The trap dies after capturing 3 or 4 insects. The amazing fact of this Venus flytrap is that they can live up to 20 years in the wild. While most of their energy is obtained through photosynthesis, insects provide nutrients that aren't readily available in the soil. The Venus flytrap is one of the few carnivorous plants that is able to move. The Venus flytrap has 2 leaves that are hinged at the base. Each leaf has small hair on the surface that trigger the plant to close when they are touched. And do you know what is the most interesting fact about this plant? The Venus flytraps are named after 2 ancient goddesses. Venus comes from the Roman goddesses of love, and the plant's scientific name, Dionaea muscipula, refers to Greek goddesses Aphrodite. These plants have a dormant period from November to February, but when they are in season, they can produce beautiful white flowers. Venus flytraps are very slow growing, and they can stay in a flat for 6 months to a year before they need to be transplanted. Once they are about 2 inches tall, you can move them to a terrarium or individual pots if you started with a flat one. Do Venus flytraps taste? What do you think? Worthwhile to a Venus flytrap means protein. After the first closure, the flytrap tastes whatever it has caught by means of sensing glands on the surface of the lobes. And can you guess who discovered Venus flytrap plant? John Ellis, a member of the East India Company, who primarily dealt with the shipping of the plants, discovered the Venus flytrap and was so taken aback that he wrote a letter to famous botanist Carl Linnaeus describing the plant. The anatomy of the plant is fascinating too. Its evolutionary history isn't entirely known since the plant hasn't been fossilized as such. However, scientists believe that the plant started out flowering far smaller in size on the ground and gradually grew bigger due to the size of its prey. The inner walls of the leaves are covered in nectar, which attracts flies, insects, and spiders to land there. There are 3 trichomes. Trichomes are the hair-like spikes that rest in the middle of the plant's mouth. These are, in effect, the Venus flytrap's triggering mechanism. If 2 spikes are touched within 20 seconds of each other, or one spike is touched multiple times in quick succession, then the two halves of the plant close together and ensnare any prey in under a second. The trichomes are incredibly sophisticated, so they can distinguish between living or inanimate objects very easily, whether it's a drop of rain or the shell of a nut. The edges of the plant's leaves are covered in stiff hairs called cilia, which interlock once the trap has been sprung, sealing the fate of the prey for good. What's even worse for any poor insect that is trapped is that its struggle only makes the leaves join tighter together. Once the trap is tightly shut, it turns into a stomach. The secretion of enzymes such as oxidative protein modification then breaks down and digests the prey. This can take up to 10 days, depending on the size of the meal, after which time the trap reopens and spits out the exoskeleton of the insect, basically the insect's outer body. Venus flytraps are perennials, meaning they bloom again each year. Their flowers are white and will produce seeds when pollinated. Flowering requires a great deal of plant's energy, so growth often slows during this time. That's all for today. Hope to meet you all soon with the next informative video.